find it will work a treat. So we're now live. No, you are. Otherwise, you're not playing. You can piss off. See, you'll run away. I know you will, because you're a fucking coward. No, I got everywhere. I proved that he had zero evidence of zero lies. It's in the video. Zero lies, zero on ego. He's a fucking fool. Watch the video. Yeah. Oh, okay, thanks, God. Just a minute, boys. Just got to have the pills. No, it doesn't matter. I've got nothing to hide. And these pussies. Okay, so can we show the video to the audience? Grrr, like a fucking little kid. Unmute me. Come on, you douche. I'm not playing the contention rules. Well, you fucking are playing them. Otherwise, you know, you'll be running away and you'll fucking lose. And then I'll go on to what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay here and I'm going to explain the bullshit philosophy that you've got. So we'll just start with your claim, right? I just want to clear a bit of the housekeeping, right? You're obviously got your knickers in a knot, so settle down. You play up too much and I kick you out. Simple rules. All right, so this is what the boys came up with, right? They think that they know shit, right? But they know fuck all. Now, where are we? Hang on a second. Okay, so a lot of abuse, blah, 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 blah. Of course, they say I abuse, but they filter out all the abuse that they do. Means fucking nothing to them. Horrible people. Righto, where are we? They also have the ability to limit information to your brain. So it's to do with, and they were all ganging up. So this is a gang up effort. Fucking a girl called Renee was part of the setup. But I caught them in the setup. So now we're just going to expose them. The illusions occur inside. Oh, that's me. Oops, no. Where is this dickhead? Oh, let's see if I can remember it. So I beat that guy and he runs off and says he wants to go to fucking sleep. And I just slam dunked his proposition. That's rude stuff there from bloody the trolls. I'll do my best to do it. And then, Joe, then I'll allow you, right, to put your position. Oh, he ran away. He ran away. What a little baby. Right, and all I was going to do, right, it was no big deal. I was just trying to get, because these guys rant and rave, they're like fucking women. And what they are, and this particularly this prick Jello, right, he's an absolute fucking world-class bully of the first order. So he's still here, and if he remains here, we'll let him come on. And what you'll see is he'll go into a fucking tirade. I'll make him go there, right, because he's a lying, low-life prick. Now, there are better ways to kill your husband than just standing by watching him die. I'm ashamed of you, Sandy. You should care. Call the doctor. Now, what he's trying to do there, he's trying to project. This has been a bullying campaign from these guys. You know, it's amazing I survived it, but I've survived it and I've come out quite strong. This has been going on probably 12 months, right? So this guy, he's trying to project. Now, he ran away, right? That's the cognitive dissonance event. He went away because he knew that I had total control and I would expose him if he stayed here. And that's the flight pattern of the fight, flight response that happens with cognitive dissonance. Very common and very, very powerful sort of bit of information to be aware of. So what he's saying there, just examine what he says. He says, there are better ways to kill your husband. Now, he's talking to my wife. Now, my wife has no issues. in terms of, oh, she would like me to get away from these people, but I will not stand down to bully, right? So he frames it. This is the cunning ego mind framing it, right? He says there are better ways to kill your husband. That's absolutely fucking appalling. What he's trying to do, this is the depth of depravity that this human being's, you know, crawling to. And they're getting more and more desperate, you know. But, you know, I refuse to be fucking beaten up by these people. I mean, I had that experience 12 months ago, and it, you know, cost me significantly in terms of my health. Anyway, he goes on to say that than just standing by watching him. So he's trying to make her feel guilty. He's psychologically trying, so this is the ego mind, very cunning. He's trying to psychologically get under her skin and try and force her to call the doctors, so that basically if that happens, and that happened last time, right, that actually happened to me, and it was directly related to these bullies, get the doctors, and that way they get me out of their face. That's their primary objective, right? Because I'm, you know, I'm just not willing to accept the bullying. Then he says, good luck to you. So he sort of signs off. This is the, there's a safe face-saving pattern in cognitive dissonance, and that's exactly what that is. He's trying to sort of present himself to the world popularly that he's a good person. But he's not. Well, he is a good person, right? So no need to persecute the dude like they persecute me. But, you know, the problem is the ego mind. And I know specifically what it is. All right, so let's have a look at some of the other things they say before I get on to these ridiculous debates. So there was 3 of them. So obviously, as a group, they launched a campaign to really try and frustrate me, right? But that's impossible. You cannot do it. So not like last time where I got really frustrated. They cannot do it again. Just not possible. Okay, so this is this Joseph Stackhouse. So he's a young guy within the group. He's not a bad sort of a dude, but he's just got caught up with it. And when you get caught up with this bullying phenomena, you know, everyone seems to adopt the behaviours regardless of who they are. And then this is this creepy dude, Jello shots. Yeah, I hear. So this is the team mentality. Yeah, unmute so we can discuss. But he didn't want to discuss. He just wanted to rant and rave. So what I've done so that I can get decent communications out of these people, because all they want to do is project an image against me. All I want is to, you know, if they make a statement or a claim about me, oh, sorry, that's the bullying pattern too. It throws out heaps of lies, and that excites the target victim. Trolls do it on the internet all the time. And they feed off that sort of energy, I suppose, well, I don't know whether that's a right statement. But anyway, so they form a little bit of a team. Now, here's this guy again, Joseph Stackhouse. Can we show the video to the audience? Well, yes, it was going to go live. Well, we're actually live now. Grrr. So a bit of frustration, right? Because the ego mind does not like to be controlled. Unmute me. So a demand, not a request. Again, ego signature. Come on, you douche. I'm not. So tries to throw out threats to try and gain control. I'm not playing the contention rules. Well, no, it has to be the contention rule, because at least that way we can control the debate. You make a claim. We stop at each point in the claim. We investigate whether you're valid or not. And what you find, right, particularly with this ego and bullying, you find that their claims fall over quite quickly. But there's a problem. And this is part of the cognitive dissonance signature. They don't recognise. They repurpose information coming in to their proposition. So, you know, more lies, if you like. So playing, you and Serb got nowhere. Now, that's not true. I actually reviewed, so there's a guy called Cerberus. He's another one of the bullies. He's a shocking case. Good guy, but he's just been so caught up in this lie, it just gets progressively and progressively worse. I had a bit to do with that because I wouldn't stand down. And that creates the progressive worst. And, you know, people advise me and say, well, why don't you just leave it alone? But there's a problem with that. If you walk away, then they will do it to other people. I know. I can, you know, give names of other people that suffered, and they suffered significantly from these behaviours. And these guys have no conscience, or at least these ego minds have no conscience. So you and Sir got nowhere. Well, that's not true. I actually went through the whole video. So he made an accusation, right, that I have lies and egos, which is a comment that I use when I'm describing egos. So that they pick up information and then repurpose it. So so there's this thing. He made a video on lies and ego. So what I did is I broke it down and I went through it step by step. So we've got a video of this. We went step by step by step by step by step. And at the end, there was absolutely nothing. He had nothing at all. So, and you know, I don't lie. I just simply don't. So I was able to prove my case. But these guys still won't acknowledge that hard evidence. So they're stubborn as all get up. Because you spent all the time going back and forth. And then this guy, now this is the team bonding, Jello Shots, who's a 40-something old man. He goes, lol, 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 lol. Now, Joseph Stackhouse, okay, then I'll just leave you here alone. This is the flight thing, because he's starting to realise that I'm not going to budge on, you know, a tight set of rules so that we get through the debate. And you can play on your own dick alone. Yeah, so that's another signature, right? You get people that are normally nicely behaved, and what they do is they, you know, get quite petty and dirty and all sorts of things. The problem is you can't discuss things with them unless you unmute them. Yeah, well, I explained to him, you know, I was just going to give the introduction and then we could have got going. So then Jello Shots, Sandy, you are an enabler, right? So this guy, I figured out this guy, he's actually one of the major players. So, you know, if there's a legal recourse, I think I've got to take it against him. And that's the thing too, you must take action against bad behaviours. You just must. Because if you don't, it continues, it perpetuates. So you're not serving humanity or other people if you let it go. So Sandy, you are an enabler. Again, the cunning devil, if you like. Sandy, you are the enabler. So he's saying you're the power person. Rob is getting sicker and sicker in front of your face. He's going to stroke out. Yeah, but hey, there's no mention of the fact that you guys are tormenting me, right? All right, and then the other side says, well, stand down. But no, I won't stand down. That's not just. I can handle these guys. Sicker and sicker in front of your face. He's going to stroke out. How do you feel about that? So he's trying to make her feel guilty. This is fucking appalling behaviour. I mean, absolutely appalling. The way he's treating my wife. This is the level of depravity that this type of behaviour goes to. So this guy, Jello Shots, I think he's got a lot more to do with things, you know, than meets the eye. He's like the sinister little devil in the background. And then this guy called Joseph Stackhouse says, let me know when you actually want to talk. Well, I wanted to talk now, Joseph, but I wanted to have a level playing field. I was going to present the argument and we were going to walk through it. And it's not a big one. It's a fucking small one. We were going to walk through this argument together. And then, and we at the other end, we would have a position. I was quite confident. I know that these guys, because of their ego, they will resist the actual truth, but it's there for sure. There are better ways to kill. Yeah, so that's that other one from that disgusting behaving person, Jello Shots, who I call Fatty Jello, right? And I do that now. I'm nowhere near these guys, you know, and I've kept a lot of evidence. I'm nowhere near the level of behaviours that these people do, and that's because of the ego nature, right? That's just the way it is. It really lifts the table on, you know, rude and, you know, nasty comments. What I do though is I do fight back, and I give them a kick in the ribs where it hurts them, which is in their ego. No physical by fighting, no. All right. So, pardon me. So this was the thing that they were trying to argue. So I mentioned I have this way of describing the duality in nature, and I think it's extremely accurate. And they don't like it. And I think fundamentally the reason they don't like it, there seems to be something about the human condition that will recognise a serious threat to the ego. The ego being a collection of false ideas about reality. So this ego does not want to, doesn't want to be destroyed. So there's sort of like a survival mechanism for the self. So that's one aspect. And then the other aspect, so that's the first thing. The second thing is there's a survival instinct for the herd, and that's really about, what could classically be called the God or the good or love, joy, all those sort of things, empathy, truth, all of that. So if you live purely by honouring the survival strategy for the herd, you attain the enlightenment state and you lose the fear of death. And that's right through, there's plenty of examples right through philosophy and time that sort of duality concept is the actual right story about the human condition. So what I say to people, right, how do we get wrong ideas in our mind? Well, what happens is we stream data through our senses into the brain in the time slice of now. So very, very, infinitely small time slices of time called the current moment, or the current moment of the now, is where senses engage the real world and pull data into the body. Now, and I hold that to be an absolute truth, and I hold reality to be absolute, and I hold that the senses are absolute, bar variations within the population, like colour blindness, that sort of thing. Now, there's a variation in the sight, right, where the sight mechanism sort of creates almost like an optical illusion, it could be called that way, where it sees a chessboard that's physically black and white as white, but it's a constant variation, so it still doesn't break the mold on senses performing in a very standard, objective way. And their proposition was that was, and that's why I needed a minute just to discuss it, but I think their proposition was that there was a variation. They said some weird stuff. One guy said knowledge, and again, that's why I need him, don't I? Bugger. Yeah, that's the trouble with these guys. They'll make these assertions. I'll have a very clear mind on how to address them and say, no, this is the actual truth. What they're trying to do is, and this is all driven by a guy called Chaswold, they're trying to break this concept of duality, and they can't. It's not possible, because that is the reality. What I might do, I might just leave it there, because at least I'm a bit more clear-minded on how to tackle the debate. But I really do need these people here to get their point, because quite honestly, I just didn't understand it. It just made no sense whatsoever to me. And what I want to do is I want to work through the exercise with them, so that we can actually disclose why it's an error. So I can with the eye illusion. The eye illusion, it appears like an illusion, right? And there's a thing with the eye apparently where it takes images in inverse, but that doesn't matter. It's still a constant performance, and so it's always a constant stream of data. So you've always still got a perfect match to reality. So the idea that the senses are the measure of reality remains constant and accurate. So thus far, they haven't been able to break that rule, and that's what they're desperately trying to break. Because then they can say, well, no, Rob, your dualistic model, right, for reality, these two survival instincts, which come from an old Cherokee saying, is wrong. But, and here's the other problem with the ego mind. The ego mind will broadcast its position, and then it doesn't want anyone to challenge it. So it makes the whole fucking thing a bloody nightmare at times. But luckily for me, I'm quite capable and you know, very resistant to a lot of pressure. All right, that'll do. Good night.